Hello, Gemini, the twins. My dear Gemini, thank you for tuning in on this video. I'll be your tarot reader. My name's Volk, and we are going to do a monthly forecast for August 2020 for any Gemini sun, moon, or rising. So if you're any of those, if any of those happen to be in Gemini, this video is exactly for you. This is our first time doing the monthly series for Astro Tarot on YouTube, so I hope that this content is valuable to you, and if it is, let me know in the comments section. But otherwise, let's go ahead and start shuffling here. So we'll do one card for each and every week of the month, including the last week, since we're already on August 10th. We'll do a little overview. We're going to scope out what happened in your recent past. So let's see, Gemini. For you, Gemini, there's a lot of focus on changing your circle of communication. You're thinking about a lot of things. You're changing the way you think. With Mercury and Sun conjuncting in your third house, there's a lot of work on positive thinking, and I think it has a lot to do with a very strong level of frustration on a deep level. So Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are all in the 8th house, retrograding in a very deep space of debt, other people's resources, maybe anything that's really buried deep there. You know, there's a lot of inner self-aggression happening, and it's really not healthy for you at this point, Gemini. And so I think what you're doing overall for the month, Gemini, is you're going to be focusing on calibrating to a more self-nurturing way of thinking and communicating as well with other people. We had a full moon in Aquarius. Sorry for the noise outside. There's a cleaning truck sweeping all the dirt away in the neighborhood. Maybe that's significant. Maybe that signifies all the dirt, the mental clutter, the beep boop and the bada boop that has been alarming in your head, that needs to be shut off for a little while. Mars is in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, of acquaintances. So you're broadening your horizons as far as what you're looking into in the future. In the recent past, last week, we have this 4 in reverse. You feel like you're crumbling a little bit, and I think there's a strong and excessive need to hold on to what you think you needed. This is not healthy behavior, Gemini. You need to not... You might have to share a little bit more about what you're thinking about and what your woes are. But for the most part, well, on second thought, I think you're learning how to let go of old attachments, Gemini. Although you have a wide circle of people in your life at times, I think you're doing really well. Especially starting this week, but I think you're learning how to let go. Because you were holding on for a while, and now we're focusing on letting go of toxic ties with certain people or situations that you don't want to experience over and over and over. It might have to do with people that are bothering you a lot, and you're putting up with that behavior. So there's a lot of focus on I think there is a stronger focus for Geminis out there on career at this time. You're learning how to change what you've been doing on a professional level. And as far as health and family goes, you are taking a step back. With Capricorn and Taurus here, Capricorn in reverse, Taurus in the upright, you're learning how to be a little bit more passive how to not be overly forceful in how you want social dynamics to happen in the home, in the family. Uranus is in your 12th house for several years. So you're being pushed towards changing the way that you've been, excuse me, that was loud. Living your own life. So yeah, there's a lot of noise internally for you, Gemini, that you're working on letting go. And on the third week, the Knight of Swords is exactly what you need at this time. We're really working on getting closer to inner peace in the mental realm, because there was a strong level of responsibility that you were holding on to that really hurt your personal development, and now you're kind of watching it all. You're examining all the things that you've been overly responsible to or needing to work on, and maybe you need to focus on the one thing right now that you need is whatever you have already at your disposal that can make you feel at peace. You don't have to wait for anything. You can focus on whatever you already feel good in. And then by the third week, you're going to feel a little bit more peaceful, Gemini, because the Knight of Swords upright, although it can denote, you know, social developments and whatnot, this is not what you need at the time. You need to find peace. You need to take a step back and put on the brakes a little bit, because your mind's zooming. And it's based on some really toxic maybe self-imposed mentalities that have been getting to the point where you can't really breathe, figuratively breathing. And there's just a lot of clutter in your mind. And so this month, you need to be changing your mental parameters to something that's more nurturing, yeah. And more optimistic. You don't have to obsess about what certain people did and how they behaved, or what you expected and what didn't, what wasn't reciprocated in the same way. You can kind of take a step back and not feel so flighty. So how do we end the month for you, Gemini? What's going on? It's gotten a lot quieter in the neighborhood suddenly, so what do we need for Gemini? So for fourth week of August. There's a certain level of overall of discontent. August is a little bit hard for you to navigate, to be completely honest, with what we have here. Let me flip them, see if I can show them correctly. First week, we have the Four of Pentacles. You're waiting while letting go of old, not so good ways of attaching yourself to people or even finances. But there's also, I think, you're not... See, the thing with Gemini is sometimes you guys will want things to move, and there's a level of impatience that Gemini sometimes expresses that needs to be developed and cultivated a little bit more. And this is exactly why you're ending the month not so comfortable, not very content with everything that's already behind you. or around you, rather. So let's see why that's happening. In the subconscious, why? Three of Cups reversed. So you're not really getting along with certain people. That's not typically something the Gemini likes to experience. Gemini wants to get along. You're social. You're kind of a butterfly at times. If not, even then, with the few people that you know, there's some kind of there's a lot of bickering, I think, happening, or some kind of internal conflict that's making you unsettled and not able to let go of what people said and did and thought about you. We have the strength card after, but that's besides the... I think the new moon later this month is really going to help you. And I think you'll have a different way to think, to not obsess about the small details. We do have the South Node in Sagittarius and the North Node in Gemini. So there is a focus. Notice the details. Notice what is it that you're thinking about, and what can you filter out and keep. Because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of nervousness, and I think you're also part of it for a lot of Geminis out there. I think a lot of it has to do with finances as well. Some of you are working a lot and you're not quite reaping the rewards you're wanting, and so you're definitely kind of worried about why it is you're not getting what you want. So the theme card, the thematic for August is the Star card. Have a little bit more faith. I feel like, for the most part, like I said earlier, this has a lot to do with what you're doing for a living and what you're not getting it in return. Sorry, this fell out of my hand. So this might be really important. So have a little bit more faith in what you do, what you do for a living. You need more patience. If it does not have to do with work, you need to work on immediately taking care of yourself first. So so Gemini, you might have a tendency to want to, figure out who's doing what are they thinking about, have you texted your friend so-and-so, but focus on yourself right now, Gemini. Go inwards, because you're not in the right space right now subconsciously to get along, because you're dissatisfied with a lot of things, a lot of the responsibilities you have, and the overburdening you have is getting to you. So that's why you've decided to take the load off a little bit, which is good. But at the same time, you're still kind of waiting for someone to take care of you in the way that you want to feel. And I think it's going deeper to a spiritual sense, where whatever you do, whatever responsibilities you have or work life, it's not going to make you feel at ease, because with the Knight of Swords in reverse too, there's the idea that you try, and your mind is just racing more and more, and so this is not what you need to do, and this is on the third week. So you need to focus on calming down a little bit and getting more in touch with whatever's at your disposal behind you, because you're not noticing it. And I think you're pitying yourself a little bit too much. And maybe you're not expressing that to other people. You're not letting it known, right? You're not getting that across because you've been a little bit more within yourself. So the thing that's really going to help you is having a little bit more faith. Understanding that what you're feeling right now is meant to happen. And that you might need to revisit some of those old themes that have to do some really deep and maybe terrifying aspects of your life that you didn't want to pay attention to, or that you were afraid to really tackle. And maybe getting past that as well, examining it and then overcoming it, and allowing yourself to change certain things to be a little bit more optimistic about the future in the mental space, especially for you. So let's get an animal card for Gemini. For Gemini, what do we need for the animal card? What's an animal card for Gemini? Mental clarity is what you need right now. Especially mental clarity. There's a need to kind of pull back and observe as well. Kind of like in the Aries video that I did, except this kind of observation is different. This is something that you need to do more in the evening. So, because typically, nighttime is when we think a lot about ourselves, and the nighttime is where we typically obsess and we worry. We start worrying and fearing, and that's not a good thing for Gemini at all. You can't sleep on that kind of feeling. And so there's a need to be a little bit more observant, but also detached from what you're thinking about. So notice whatever's going on in your mind and let it pass. And notice the little glimmers you're getting at times in your head. Cling on to that. Set your gaze on that. Little stars, right? Because you don't want to operate from this space. And when you're not noticing anything that's good around you, you can't be at peace within yourself. You don't feel nourished at all. So be with yourself for a little while. It's fine. You don't have to. Be with yourself whenever you can and learn how to modulate your thinking, your lower mind, which is actually your ruling house. Because a lot of the planets, like I said earlier, Mercury's conjuncting the sun in the third house, your planet in the third house with the sun. The new moon happening later this month on August 18th will be happening in the third house as well. So there's definitely a need to not get hung up on the bad details, but at the same time focus on the right details of whatever you have a yearning for. All right, and so, and the bad details involve some of these interactions you've had before, recently or for a long time. Some of this is deeply ingrained, but it has to do with disagreements, arguments, in the home life, maybe, particularly as well. But it could be with old friendships, but or it could be recent communications as well. But for the most part, I think what you need to do is have a little bit more of that free-flowing, youthful Gemini kind of thinking. So instead of obsessing on the small details and feeling restless as a result, how about you stimulate your mind with the things that make you feel excited. The light bulbs, the fire, the little glimmers of the future space. This is a fellow air sign card for you, Aquarius. And it's also denoting your need to be more connected to your sense of imagination. So rather than being hung up on the details of your immediate reality, allow for your mind, your cerebral mind, Gemini, to operate from a space of wonder and awe for the changes that will be happening in 2021 and for maybe the rest of the year. So, but you need to first adapt your mind to that. So think about it. Think on that. All right. Gemini, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this content, if you found it valuable, make sure to leave a comment. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/icyvolk. Twitter is a thing that Gemini's like, right? Social media is your thingamajig, so check it out if you want. Discord is also a server, a thing that we use. We have our own community server if you want to hop on that. And we also do live readings on Twitch at twitch.tv/icyvolk. Usually Saturdays and Sundays is when I do those. Not always, but we also play video games on there. And otherwise, if you want to leave a monetary tip, there's a PayPal link below. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your viewership, and I wish you the best of luck in your journey of self-discovery and persistence in this year of 2020 and beyond. So, with that being said, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Signing out, your tarot reader, Volk. Goodbye.